Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Let's Dub podcast. I'm Philiard, voice of Matthew and Dart in Fire Emblem, Sakazaki Yuya and Hatful Boyfriend, Leo Harway and Fate Extra, the Male Mage and Dungeon Fighter, and Director of Kindred Spirits on the Roof, Mazer.
Hi, I'm Mazerly. I am Hakano and Fate Extra, Aretha and an octave higher, Yoka and Miyu in Kindred Spirits on the Roof. I'm the female fighter and Dungeon Fighter. I'm in charge of Halloween Otome, as well as the co-director of Lady of the Shard, and that's about it for right now. Go ahead.
And so today we have a very special guest star. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Amy, also known as Tulip Goddess, also known as Lion Sensei. I am a translator of games such as Kindred Spirits on the Roof, which is the best one. And so, I don't even really need to talk about the other ones.
Yeah, screw those guys.
Yeah, who cares about those other games?
We don't. Huh.
Well, you care
Speaking
about...
of Kindred Spirits on the Roof, pre-orders have begun for the expansion Kindred Spirits Full Chorus.
Yes.
Full Japanese voice acting.
Releasing
and some other stuff, presumably.
On the 26th, I believe, of January.
Yep. In Japanese.
I have pre-ordered it twice now.
Damn.
They just
That's a
put
lot of
up...
pre-orders.
They just put up the pre-order bonuses. And so far I don't know if there's going to be more. There's one for Softmap and there's one for Amazon. And I pre-ordered it the day that pre-orders went up on Amazon. And then the Softmap pre-order bonus was released a few days later. And I was like, oh crap, I gotta get this one. Because it looks real cool.
That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put that in the comments, probably.
Probably.
And so, this is totally, off the record. We can't say anything official, but, maybe it'll come out in English.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Then,
well, no,
then you should buy it.
I think it's definitely coming out in English.
All right.
Manga Gamer.
You heard it here first. Definitely coming out in English.
We heard it first on Twitter, otherwise I wouldn't be able to say it.
You heard it here second.
This might be the first time you're hearing it.
There wasn't an official announcement or anything, but I think someone asked the Manga Gamer Twitter account, and they tweeted back to one person, like, yes, we're doing it, so.
That one person. That
one person knows. We don't have any, I can't say any details, though, because I don't even know them, so.
Damn.
Hopefully.
You heard it here maybe first, folks.
Yes.
You don't know if we're going to get the alternate route of our dreams.
Right, we still don't really know what's in it besides voices, and there's going to be some new art, but we don't know what exactly. CGs or one CG.
It could be 1 CG, it could be 10 CGs. We don't even know.
Yes, the Japanese is not specific.
Alright, so this is a translation-centric podcast, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So,
we'll see.
Yeah. Maybe. Depends on how long we can talk about this. So, I thought we might start by talking about learning Japanese.
Yes. It's very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any, exciting story about how I taught myself, really. It was offered in my high school, so I took it in high school, and I took it in college. I majored in Japanese language and culture, and, then it was just kind of a lot of, watching anime, and when I started fan translating some games while I was in college, and that helped a lot. The important thing, I think it's helpful to have sort of structured classes to learn, the basics.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically just have to use it a lot, so... Watching anime, reading Japanese books, whatever.
Yeah, I took a class on Japanese in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Never again. I know hiragana, and that's about all I got out of that class.
It's still more than I know, Phil, so we're proud of you.
So you can read a third of a sentence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more than a lot of people.
It's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time when I'm explaining to people that don't know anything about Japanese, you have to start with there's 3 different alphabets, basically, and they're like, what?
Good luck, basically.
Yeah.
2 of them have a few dozen characters, or like letters.
Yeah.
One of them has like thousands.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot.
And even
kanji.
Japanese people aren't very good at it sometimes.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is to watch like Japanese Let's Plays of visual novels or whatever, and people are like reading the game along and they're like, I can't read this, I can't read this. So it's like, oh, even Japanese people don't know how to read kanji. It's good.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
So you learned how to translate stuff in college.
Yes.
And
I actually,
then
my capstone class was specifically on translation, where we discussed for a whole semester, we basically like read a bunch of essays on translation and kind of came to the conclusion at the end that like nobody really knows how you do it.
That's good to know.
That's the academic conclusion to be drawn, is that who knows?
The academic conclusion is throwing a bunch of papers in the air and being like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it was kind of like every week we'd pick a subject and read like 2 to 3 papers that like had different opinions, you know?
Oh, okay.
So it's an art, not a science.
Yeah, people outside my dorm are shouting penis.
Oh, good.
Tell us a little about the process of becoming a translator.
Well, I basically just knew a guy because I was involved in the fan translation scene. So one of my buddies was like, well, you should email Manga Gamer and see if they need a translator. So I did, and they recruited me for a couple of short, more porny games, which sometimes the newcomers get stuck on. I did those, and then I got some bigger projects. I got to do Kano Shoujo 2, which was a lot of fun.
Kano Shoujo is like the sequel to Cartogra. So.
Yes. Second
There's
season.
another connection
should
there.
go watch our dub of Cartogra.
I haven't watched the whole thing, but I watched parts of it, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Endorsed by a Manga Gamer translator.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty good endorsement for us as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
My dad keeps trying to get me to learn Japanese and go teach English in Japan.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. I took one Japanese course and now I'm suddenly the fucking Japanese guy.
Yeah,
Congrats, you're the Japanese guy, Phil.
That's how it is.
So. Doesn't feel great, gotta be honest with you.
Like if you draw
if you draw one thing,
then you're like the artist of the family. Yeah. Yep.
Gotta love your family. Anyway,
So,
translating.
yeah, back to that. I would like to know a little more about, how you pick a game to translate, whether as an individual or maybe like as a larger group.
Sometimes it's just like, here's a project, you should do it, and you can accept or not accept, or like, you're given a choice between projects, and sometimes, the translators at Manga Gamer were like pitch games to do, and so we kind of had a list of like Yuri games that maybe we should go after, because this was a few years ago and there weren't quite as many Yuri games in English as there are now, and I just like, I don't know why exactly, because I think I knew Liarsoft from some other games, and I was like, oh, this one looks weird, I'll try it out. So I tried Kindred Spirits and I was like, holy crap, this is the best game ever. So I was like, I went to my bosses and I was like, we gotta do this game. And that was apparently as persuasive enough.
That's all you really need. Just, hey, this game's cool, let's do it.
Yeah. I guess I had proven myself trustworthy by then or whatever. And I can't remember. I think we were already doing another game by Liarsoft then. We did Gakthun. So, we had a relationship with the devs.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a convenient game.
Yes.
Oh, wait. Say that again?
It was a convenient sort of position for the game to be in, and I wanted to do it, so I got to.
Don't let your dreams just be dreams.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you are now Kindred Spirits' #1 fan.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe #1 English-speaking fan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is anyone who says any different a liar?
I'd settle for #2.
#2 is just as good, really. It's not a contest.
Yeah. Yeah, #2, that's a silver in the Olympics.
We're all about
That's
everyone loves
that's
the game.
silver in the Olympics.
Only the Olympics, nowhere else.
Yeah, nowhere else is it silver.
Before we move, in League, that's like number, 6, 7?
Okay, but
Pretty
that's
low
League.
down.
Nobody wins in League.
Before we move on, I would like to ask about, perhaps your experience with Kindred Spirits, because it seems I think you discovered it before I'd said anything about the dub.
Yeah, well, I had heard about it, like, when it was going to be released on Steam, because everyone was making a fuss about, a porn game on Steam.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. I didn't play it for a long time, however. I didn't play it until after you had started asking Peter if we could dub this, and I was like, maybe it's finally time I actually play through this. So I did, and I enjoyed it, and then I was like, hey, Peter, yeah, we should totally do this. And that's how that happened. It was exciting, I know.
You had to do it because it had such a good English script, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But wait, from what I've heard, there's another half to this English translation dream team.
But wait, there's more.
I feel bad now.
So you want to give a quick shout out?
Well, translation is the first part of the process, but then the editor is also very important in any translation. So I could not have done any of this without Pi-R, my editor, who is not really on social media anywhere, so I can't send you to tell him good job, but I pass along all messages to him.
Shout out to all editors out there.
Yeah.
Every single one of you.
They're very important.
Okay, one last thing before we moved on, because you said the thing about a whole a sex game coming to Steam.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And that was a big thing when it was first announced. There were articles on Kotaku and PC Gamer and Destructoid.
Yes.
And my personal favorite headline about it was Destructoid's sexy lesbian ghost game comes to Steam uncensored.
Very sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sexy that it takes about 20 hours to get to the first boobs.
To get to the first sexy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, literally more than halfway through the game.
Whether it's worth it or not is up to you.
But I think, as weird as that little scandal was, I guess it probably got the name out there more than it would have gotten out there otherwise.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and Kindred Spirits, has a big English fan base for the kind of game it is.
Yes.
Surprisingly large.
I think it's just because it's such a good game,
Good things attract fans. Who knew?
It had a big fan base in Japan, and now it's big here.
No publicity is bad publicity.
Right.
So, getting back on track, characters in any type of story, some of them might have speech quirks, and I wanted to talk a little about the process of translating those, because, for example, Teddy in Persona 4, he would always end his sentences with, Kuma, right? And then in English, they just made him make a bunch of bear puns.
Yeah.
I mean, the bear puns were good.
They were good.
I support that idea.
They were very good.
I don't enjoy the character of Teddy, but...
Wow. Poor Teddy.
But I would say that was a good decision for the translators.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how much do you enjoy Teddy as a character then, Phil?
I like Teddy. Not my favorite character in Persona 4, but he's pretty high up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in a solid 5th place.
I see. We'll have to argue about this later.
Okay.
Friendships destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, they're Kindred Spirits the characters aren't like super anime. Like nobody has the thing that they say on the end of every sentence, except for maybe Yoka saying rock all the time. And then there's like, Hina's thing.
Yeah.
She's just
Oh man.
doesn't say much, and when she does, it's usually But there were some, like, the main thing with the characters in Kindred Spirits was that we had to kind of try to give 16 different characters distinct voices, which was pretty difficult.
Hey, we had to do that too.
Yeah, right.
It was difficult.
It was very difficult. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. Kindred Spirits only has 10 voice actresses in Japanese.
Yes, they have a lot of them doing double duty, and some of them are voicing very different characters, and some of them are voicing kind of similar characters.
Yeah, like I think it's most notable with like Megami and Sakuyo. They sound nearly identical.
Yes, they have basically have the same voice.
It's not something you're really that likely to notice because they're never really in the same scene together.
Right, so they can do that because they don't really ever talk. But then there's like Ano and Aki have the same voice.
I was also surprised to learn that Maki and Matsuri are played by the same person.
Yes, kind of the low and high. And that's fun because in one of the drama CDs, they have a conversation together. So it's just the one
that's always fun.
Person talking to herself, yes.
I think we've narrowly avoided most situations like that. There is Hina and Kiri who are in a couple of scenes together.
Yeah, but Hina doesn't talk, like, so much, so I think it'll be okay. Probably.
Hina is fun because you kind of go through the whole game, like, not really seeing what's in her head, and then finally when you get to the extra scenes, spoilers, you get some scenes from Hina's perspective, and there's a lot more going on in there than what comes out of her mouth, so...
She's a thoughtful girl.
Very
quiet, thoughtful girl.
The inner machinations of Hina's mind are an enigma.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Unless you play the extra scenes.
Yeah, then you understand.
I didn't like Hina much playing through the game the first time, but she actually has some really good extra scenes.
Yeah.
So, good on you, Hina.
There's a lot of characters that are... They're kind of an enigma. Like, there's not much from Aki's point of view either, but then, again, you finally get some of her thoughts in the extra scenes, and that's one of the things that I really like is that there's so much to the characters, and the way that you learn more, you know, when you think that there isn't even much to learn anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really like about Kindred Spirits is that it has a really excellent way of getting you to learn more about all the characters.
Yeah.
You get to see things from their perspectives without it being weird.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's kind of repetitive.
Yeah, it can definitely be repetitive.
But I like seeing, you know, and then when a scene is written from a different character's perspective, you have to write it in a different way.
I always thought it kind of funny whenever the game would have to repeat a scene with a choice in it. And it would just kind of have to skip over the parts that the choice affected.
Yeah.
Listen, it maybe happened.
It definitely happens a couple of times.
They had a vague conversation, and then stuff.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the choices real quick?
Yeah.
And how they don't matter at all?
Choices in games don't matter.
No, choices in Kindred Spirits don't matter.
Yeah, a lot of games they don't matter, but especially...
But then why are they there?
Well, I mean, the one thing that they do is unlock extra scenes.
Yeah, but Larasoft, make choices matter in the new one.
There's a...
Make it happen.
I feel bad whenever anyone says that they thought that there was going to be... Oh, spoilers. There's no Ano route. Ano is not an option. Phil. Even though they set it up, like, they give you a few choices that are like, Hina or Ano? But no.
I'm so sorry, Phil.
I can't remember where exactly. I think the director of the games tweeted something about how, like, Ana was never intended to be a love interest. Like, she was created to be Yuna's best friend.
But she and Yuna are so good together.
Yes, that upsets some people.
Like Phil here.
Yes, I am upset. At least give me Auto Netta.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, I have gone on record to say that I enjoy that Anna doesn't end up with anyone because I kind of read her as asexual.
I'm sorry, Phil.
That's a whole other thing, but
Can't always get what you want.
yep.
Sadly.
But who
Speaking of
knows?
someone-
I mean, well, yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen in the. Maybe they'll add an auto route in the.
Give me
full
my
voice
auto
section.
route. Just let Yuta end up with Ano. It's all I want.
This is why fanfiction exists, Phil.
Right. There's a lot out there. Not well. There isn't a whole lot of English content, I guess.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't, looked, but it's bound to be out there.
There's a lot on Pixiv.
Yeah.
Okay, remember this podcast is about translation?
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Let's talk about characters that might have been specifically difficult to translate.
Yeah.
For example, I know Megami, she uses a lot of slang.
That was kind of a thing that we added. Because Megami has an attitude, and we wanted to kind of spice it up a little, so I was like, well, she died in the 80s, why don't we throw in some 80s slang? So I tried to find, ones that weren't so over the top that would be annoying, but stuff that, people might still say. She says bite me one time to Yuna, which
That's good.
I enjoy.
I noticed that in Stranger Things.
Oh
It
yeah.
really must be an 80s thing.
Mhm.
Stranger Things Season 2. That was good.
I'm still watching it. No spoilers.
I have not
don't
even
say
seen
anything.
season 1 yet, so one of
The
these
Will
days.
is suffering.
It really, really is.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was just kind of what words would this character use? In Yoka's case, it was a lot of what words would she not use, and what words would she struggle to use?
What words would she know?
You're right. And, I'm losing my train of thought. Just like Yoka. It's just like Yoka. A lot of the time when I was writing Yoka, I would just kind of write like how I would say something, which is bad. Because it shows how ineloquent, is that a word that I am?
I don't know if that's a word.
Exactly. See?
Ineloquent? That's totally a word.
Yes. I have a big vocabulary. It's just
I feel-
locked away in my mind somewhere, and I can't find any of the words. But they're in there, and I know them.
They exist somewhere.
Yeah. So that's why, I would not be able to do interpreting, speaking Japanese.
Yeah, that's another
Speaking
thing you
English.
could do if you learn Japanese.
But with translating, you get to sit there for 2 hours trying to come up with what word you're trying to say.
That's exciting.
Yes. Let's see. The only character I can think of that we had kind of trouble with was Maki, because she's supposed to be cute and girly, but we didn't want to go full Valley Girl with her and make her sound really dumb.
It would
But
have been hilarious if she was just a straight up Valley girl.
yeah, my editor, Pi, was not super. That wasn't really his area of expertise, so we had to kind of figure that character out a little.
Oh, also, Paco, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Paco Slim, wanted me to ask who your favorite actress in the dub is.
Even though we've seen not
Yeah.
even half the cast.
So far.
Of the
How about
few that have been in the
Yeah, we've
dub
seen
so
10
far.
characters, okay?
I really like Maki. Maki does a great job.
Good old Chula.
And
Shout out to Chula.
Umi is very good too.
That's...
That's-
well, right now it's Meppa. It will not be Mippa in the near future.
Oh, we have a voice change coming up?
We've lost Mippa to... We don't know. She's just
Oh, no.
gone.
Tragedy.
Yeah,
So-
it was really tragic.
You heard it here first. Eventually, Libadoodle will be playing Umi instead.
Yeah, Libby's just kind of replacing Mippa in almost everything, I'm pretty sure. Oh.
She's like Matthew Mercer.
Yeah.
And
Does
who
that mean
wouldn't
Mippa
want to
was
be
Troy
Matthew
Baker?
Mercer? Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Voice actor jokes.
Only real voice actors will get that joke.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
The other ones that, like, seem like they might have been hard but weren't really are Kitty and Yoka, who just kind of wrote themselves.
Can I just say that I love Kiri's, like, Herculean thing?
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
That was, I have to give credit to, I believe that was, no wait, sorry. Bleep that out.
Yeah, bleep it out, Phil.
Dragon,
Okay, hang on.
what is his
What time is
actual...
this in the podcast?
Oh, I
Okay.
don't know. Dragons 55 or whatever his fucking Twitter name is. One of the other manga gamer translators. I was like trying to come up with a stupid pun, and he came up with that, so that's all on him.
Nice pun, dude.
Yes.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 pun. Would tell that one again. So, actually, that's a good segue into talking about concepts that might not really work all that well in English and how you deal with something like that.
So many puns.
Sad.
Japanese games are all about puns.
Yeah, I know some people find clever ways around that, but and I see a lot of fan translations where they have to translate it very literally, and they're like, "There's no fucking way to make this pun work in English."
Yeah.
Sad day.
Like any game translation, pretty much, you're just kind of like half the time you're just sitting there thinking about how many puns you're gonna have to figure out how to do them. So Kindred Spirits has, of course, Kindred Spirits was the big
the
one.
title itself is a pun.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty good pun, too.
I'm glad that we picked one that most people seem to enjoy.
I appreciate it.
Because you have to get across the original spirit of the game. Like, that was not intended.
For those of you who don't know, let's explain what the pun is in the original title of Kindred Spirits.
Yeah, so the original title is Okujo no Yuride-san. It's Yuride, so Yude is ghost, and Yuri is Yuri, and so it's Yuri Ghosts. Which,
But
it's like some people don't like that there isn't an explicit Yuri reference in the title, like that it's not specifically about lesbian ghosts, but
can't please everyone.
yeah.
I think it's a good pun.
We came up with we have a bunch of different like logos, and we were trying to figure out the name originally, and they were pretty bad. Like we had like lesbuans. Definitely the favorite among the Manga Gamer crew was Polterdykes, but
Yeah, I see that one a lot on 4chan.
we sort of felt like maybe that was not the tone that we wanted to go for.
that more than a little like.
That might have gotten a lot more
what
controversy around it.
Right. We went with Kindred Spirits, and that conversation that they have in the beginning of the game is sort of painful. That was like the worst thing.
Yeah.
When I was trying to figure out at the very beginning of the game how I wanted to, because they incorporated the little title drop in the conversation, and they're like, why don't you call us Yuride? But I had to just kind of like, let's get away from the concept of Yuri entirely, and we'll go with this other pun, Kindred Spirits. Oh, another one. I'm looking at my alternate logos right now. We had Soulmates for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about that one. But
that's a good one.
It's
Kindred Spirits, it just rolls off the tongue.
It does.
Yeah. I like what we ended up with.
think most people were okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's a cute term, and it gets across the ghost pun, and it gets
Speaking of
across that
cute,
they're in love.
Real quick, I do want to say something about Kindred Spirits' art style. I fucking love that all the characters wear baggy clothing.
Yes.
And everything ever, it seems like all the characters wear shit that just sticks to their bodies. And it's so nice to finally see some characters wearing something comfortable.
Yeah, the character designs are great, and
It's nice.
Like, it's not sexualized at all.
Right.
And it looks like the kind of stuff I would wear.
You would wear the schoolgirl uniform?
No, but I would wear something with the general idea of being big and baggy and comfortable. I value comfort.
You'd wear Hina's tracksuit collection.
It's a good tracksuit.
Right.
So yeah, you would wear Hina's tracksuit.
Yeah, and I love the thing that, like, a lot of anime that are set in private schools do, where they have a uniform, but there's like a billion different ways to wear it, and so they're all wearing, you know, a variation on the school uniform, but they're all wearing it totally differently. Oh, yeah. Anyway, translation.
But I really like the art style in Kindred Spirits. I don't know why people don't. Some people do not like it. I don't understand.
They have bad opinions.
Yeah, people can be
terrible opinions.
It's hard to talk about anything in conjunction with the game because you just start talking about how good the game is.
Yeah, Kindred Spirits, it's the sacred cow of Yuri.
Yes.
It's just
that
good.
A sacred cow.
Yeah. But translation, speaking of Kindred Spirits,
we're talking about
I want to talk about differences between the original game and the translation outside of the text. Like, for example, people aren't going to know what we're talking about because this is really far in the future. But in the original game, they only had the instrumental version of Yoka's song. Mm-hmm. But in the full game, or in the translation, there is the version with the vocals and the sound test.
Yes. If you played the original game in Japan, you had to buy the CD with Yoka's song on it separately. And I don't know if it was because, like, they hadn't finished the song by the time the game was out or what, or if it was, like, licensing things. I don't know. But
because Yoka's voice actress sings her song. She's like an actual singer.
Yeah, she sings
a lot of visual
novel prolific
ones.
Yes.
She actually sings the opening and ending for the game itself.
She does. Mm-hmm. And she's the only one, I think, in the cast who only has one character to play.
No, there are four. Yuna, Sachi, Miki, and Yoka don't share their voice actresses with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, you've got like the whole list.
Yeah, I know.
Do you have that up? Or do you just know it?
I know that off the top of my head. I know all the characters who share voice actresses with somebody else, too. Let's see, there's Megami and Sakuyo. Mm-hmm. There's Umi and Hina, Ano and Aki, Maki and Matsuri, Miyu and Nena, and Sasa and Kiri.
Yep.
Bam.
Good job.
Well, bam.
Good job, Phil.
Thanks to Visual Novel Database for teaching me that. It's come in handy.
Uh-huh.
We'll put a round of applause here for you.
I'll edit that in. But back to talking about Yoka's song.
Yeah, so anyway, I don't know why it wasn't in the Japanese game, but it's a little harder for localized games to, like, get the soundtrack, and I didn't know if we were going to be able to sell any of the music CDs, so I just said there's this, like, really important song in the game that wasn't actually in the game. Can we add it? And, we asked Firesoft, and they were like, yeah, put it in there. So we just got to put it into the lyric mode, and it still doesn't play the, like, voice version of the song in the scene, but apparently that's one of the things that they're adding to the full voice to the full voice version. And I don't know if they're going to change the scene in another way or whatever. But
it's a good song.
They're throwing that in there. However, that's going to work.
While we're talking about this, I remember getting very pissed off that Yoka's song did not have lyrics in the game itself. But then I was listening to it later in the soundtrack. I was like, wait, this does have lyrics. I just get pissed off about nothing? But no, it's just two different versions.
Did I just not hear them?
I was like, what the fuck? We spent so long building up to this, and it doesn't have lyrics.
And hopefully people noticed it in the little
It was all just mode. In Yoka's head.
She
Uh,
transmitted the
there's-
lyrics psychically to Aki.
Directly into
There's
Aki's head.
Theory or two
That's how
out
it
there about
went.
how kindred spirits aren't real and it's all just in Yuna's head. It's all like a fever dream or something.
Poor Yuna.
Yuna just has this inexplicable urge to get the lesbians at her school together, and she just knows about them somehow.
Yeah.
They're a
Exactly.
personification of her gaydar. No, they're real. They're real, and they are in a threesome with Yuna now, according to the bonus illustration that comes with the soft map pre-order of the new
Oh.
game. I am so excited.
Good for her.
Yes, we should definitely link to this picture because it is so good. I kind of like lost
Right.
my mind about it on Twitter the other day.
And Megu Yuna is good, by
Alright,
the way.
Phil.
Just want to put that out there.
That's up to you.
Yes, Mega Yuna is my OTP.
It's good.
Just so everyone
Megumi's
knows.
voice actress ships it. I ship it. What else do you even need?
Mm-hmm.
They just have good chemistry.
Anyone ships it.
Sorry, Sachi.
They do. They really do.
Okay.
Sachi can get in there too.
I'll come back to the one true threesome in the end. So this is something.
Yes.
OT3 save
This isn't
lives.
something that's really
You heard it here
relevant to
first.
Kindred Spirits, but maybe we could talk about it in a different context. So, like, for example, in Danganronpa, they can't really change the Hangman's Gambits too much because of limitations that are imposed by the original version, which is why you end up with shit like Schizo in the first game. And so I want to ask if you've ever dealt with anything like that.
Yeah. There wasn't a ton of that sort of thing in Kindred Spirits just because it doesn't really have a whole lot of complicated stuff going on, like engine-wise. But we were limited by the fact that we had to pick a fixed width font. And font is so important. This is a pet peeve of mine when games don't pick a good font.
And
So
game
we're just kind of
developers, get good.
that was really one of our only limitations with the engine. But I've worked on a lot of other games where you have to do more complicated stuff. I think it mostly comes down to having to squish things into a certain number of characters or letters. And then just physical size. Like I'm working on Ron's Quest right now, which is a full-blown actual game with, lots of texts. I wouldn't call it a visual novel, but it has a lot of gameplay, and there's a lot of squeezing, translating an item name and then making sure that it will fit in the box that we have for item names. And the only thing that we really had in Kindred Spirits was some of this, we had to do the scene names on the calendar. Those we had to kind of squeeze a little bit sometimes. I think they were probably only on one line in Japanese, and we had to make some of them into two lines. Kind of play around with how they would fit together. Where you could actually click on them. Sorry, I'm trying not to sniffle, but I'm allergic to my cat. So.
That's so
One of
sad.
these days I gotta tell
Yeah, a
Peter to
little
start
bit.
incorporating those fucking chapter names into the titles of the episodes.
Peter is...
I've been meaning to tell him to do that.
Yeah,
I keep
please
forgetting.
help him with title
Sorry, Peter.
names.
Yeah, start doing
Peter,
that.
whenever you listen to this, hey.
Good idea, trust me.
Those were fun to do. Even just naming the titles of scenes. You have to put a lot of thought, or I do at least, into making sure they sound good and convey the same meaning.
Coming up with names for things is hard, just as a whole, so...
Yeah, there was one, I'm trying to remember, was a word that was describing Miki in one of her scenes that we translated to pushover for one of their like couple scenes. And that kind of thing will like go through a few iterations, or we'll sit there talking about it for a little while. Oh yeah. The Japanese was bendi na hito, which is like a convenient person, or like a person that is easy to use, or like that is available. So that's the thing where you sit there and you're like, for like half an hour, like, what words does this translate into that actually sounds like a real word that people would use to describe someone? And eventually you come up with pushover, and you're like, okay, that conveys the same thing.
That's interesting.
Japanese is a language that doesn't really translate one-to-one to English a lot of the time. And so a lot of the time when people translate things too literally, it sounds really awkward.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, it does.
And that's one of the things that editors are really good for, because if you are a translator who might not be super good at like making things sound really good in English, or if you're even just like don't have a lot of time, ideally you can get across the meaning of the Japanese without making it sound super good, and then your editor will be able to actually make it real English.
Aha.
Yes.
Again, shout out to editors.
Yes.
Thank you for existing.
I don't even remember. We were talking about limitations.
I don't know.
We're here.
Limitations of engines. Yeah. Oh, another thing that this isn't even really, I don't know how this happened, but a lot of people get some weird error on Steam when they play the game. And like, I wish that we knew what that was about and could fix that. It's like the biggest problem with the game right now, I think, is that some people like, you can't, they play it for 5 minutes and then like the text starts lagging.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We were never able to like replicate that bug. And so
sorry to all you people out there who can't play Kindred Spirits.
Yeah. Well, you can. You just can't play it through Steam. So you have to like open the game up outside of Steam.
Good game, that Kindred Spirits.
Yeah. You just can't like log your hours in Steam or whatever.
Can't get those. Does it even have Steam achievements? I don't remember.
It doesn't have achievements. It has trading cards.
Whoa! What's on the trading cards?
Very important. So that was fun. We got to like design the badges and stuff. I am terrible. I love like Steam badges. So
it's okay. A lot of people like them too.
I wanted them to look cool, and thankfully
Danganronpa V3 is trading cards, and apparently they are super spoilery. But there's one with Himiko and Tegra, right? So that's the only one you need. That's girls.
Thanks, Phil.
And another thing that we got to do was on some of the like wallpapers that you get for crafting badges on Steam, we got to use some of the like promotional art that wasn't, like from the game. So if you haven't like crafted badges on Steam, maybe you're missing out on some extra art that you could see.
There's your reasoning for doing this.
Put a few dollars on your Steam account, buy those trading cards.
We got, there's like a cute little pixel version of all the characters on the roof. There's some extra art of like the broadcasting trio and Cutie and Tsukio and Aki and Yoka. Cute wallpapers.
Oh. Hold on.
It's time.
What's it time for?
I don't know what it's time for, but...
Sorry, there's an announcement going on in my dorm. Hopefully people won't be able to hear that too well. We could maybe talk about a thing I know a lot of translators like to talk about, which is general issues you may find in translations of other games.
So many. Um, let's see. Well, the biggest issue really is when you're translating something and you don't have context. And so a lot of the time when you see something that's poorly translated, it might be because like the translators were not given a copy of the game before or during the translation, or like sometimes games get broken up into sections and different translators do different sections and there's like not enough communication, and or like they just get a part of the game and they have no reference to the rest of it. So like, and I have played so few games that I don't have a bunch of like super good examples, but one of my translator buddies has been talking, she's been playing Bad Apple Wars, which is a Otome game that just came out.
That's
and like I think from what she has been commenting on, like the translation itself isn't that bad. It's passable, but they like for whatever reason the translators didn't get the reading of some characters' names, so they just like translated the names wrong. So they have like main characters with the wrong names in the English translation, and they just were never like given whatever reference they needed to find out that information.
Like when people were trying to figure out the names of the Danganronpa V3 characters, and they only had the kanji.
Yeah, so a lot, like even like normal Japanese names, if they're in kanji, there can be multiple ways to read them.
Man, kanji's
it's pretty complicated to do. What was this whole storyline about being gay?
Yeah, that's also true. Kanji.
Yeah.
Kanji best.
I think he claims that position pretty favorably.
Just throwing that out there.
I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah,
I still like
would
Yosuke.
Support that.
Okay, Phil.
Am I the only person who likes Yosuke? Come on.
Yes.
Apparently the only person in the world. Because no one I ever talked to likes Yosuke.
Okay, I was at Anime Boston once, and there are always booths in the dealer's room that have a bunch of blind boxes for sale, and there was like this group of 3 friends standing by one of them, and I overhear them, and this guy spent probably over $500 because he wanted one of Risei. But I kept hearing him as he got like other characters, and he was like, "Oh, hey, it's Yosuke. Man, Yosuke's so cool. He's such a bro." And I was like, "All right, you have fun wasting all of your money on this."
Yosuke is a bro.
Go.
Only people who make bad financial decisions.
Bro, quote unquote. Yeah, partner.
This is the podcast about
because
going off on
we need to argue about this.
Bad characters.
Okay, we'll have an argument about Persona 4.
Tenko, you dissed Yosuke.
One day.
Who's next?
Sorry, but Yosuke's bad.
Well, I'll just diss Persona 4 as a whole game, so...
That's fair.
So there.
Persona 4 is my least favorite out of, like, the ones I've played. TBH.
I have not... My problem with Persona is that I've started Persona 3 and Persona 4 and got about halfway through and just could not
Persona 4 Golden was one of my favorite games for a long time.
Yes.
Like, it's a good... I enjoyed it, but I like Persona 3 and 5 a lot more than I liked 4.
Boring. This is now the Persona podcast.
Play girl in 3.
Yeah, there's also that.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of ran out...
Listen,
anyway.
We kind of ran out of things we were going to talk about for translation, so I guess this is just what this is now.
No, I was going to talk about...
Alright, let's talk more about issues.
Listen, we can argue about Persona.
Persona is good to talk about this with, actually.
What's important... Well...
And their translation issues.
Yeah, apparently... See, I don't play any video games, but apparently when Persona 5 came out, like, everyone that I know, my translation pals, were all discussing how... Like, and I don't know... I think they had a bunch of translators, and the very beginning of the game was one of the worst sections for whatever reason. So the game came out and everyone started playing it in English, and like just the beginning of the game was just awful. And someone I know actually made a whole website, personaproblems.com. So if you want to read...
It's a well-made website, I must say.
Yeah, they have a whole lot of things on, like, what is a good translation, what is a bad translation, that I am not at all organized enough to, like, actually go into, but...
Hey, Atlas, get better, do better, just do better. We know you can.
Yeah, and who knows, like, what the situation was there, if there was just, like, not proper management, if they weren't, like, vetting their translators enough, if something was going on in the communication and like the editor.
Bro, the translators just suck.
Whatever. Who knows why it happened?
A lot of factors.
Okay, probably not.
I don't think it was that, Phil.
Oh, but they do suck for not translating the text in the cutscenes.
But
there is that.
Oh, did they not?
That's just. It's pretty annoying that there's stuff on like computers and signs that you can't read.
Yeah.
Thanks, Atlas.
So there's sort of like
fun game for like 3 years for this.
There's sort of like levels of a translation, I think, and like the first level would be translating from Japanese to English and making it just like make sense in another language and get all the information across, which oftentimes like a bad translation will do. You will get the Japanese words translated into English words, and you'll be able to sort of make sense of what they were saying. But then, like, an actual good translation will not sound like it was translated at all. It will sound like it was written in English. Like, people speak like real English-speaking people do. And it annoys me that a lot of the time, like, sometimes fans are almost more happy with like bad translations because they quote sound Japanese, which is not good.
A lot of fans seem to like literal translations, like word for word, which is really just awkward sounding and not natural.
When you're trying to like dub things and make them like voice them, you're trying to speak like a real human does, and when you're reading literal translations it doesn't sound like that.
When you do that, it's just, this is not how people talk at all.
So like as an example of games that I actually did play a little bit, I've been playing a lot of phone games. So I'm a big fan of Fire Emblem Heroes. If you follow me on Twitter.
For that new voting gauntlet, short hair versus long hair. Let's go.
Yeah, I basically tweet about nothing but Fire Emblem right now. And then, when was it? Many months ago, the Fate Grand Order English version came out, and I played a little bit of that, and you're laughing, so you probably know.
Yeah.
It was not a good English translation.
I wouldn't know.
It was just really sloppy.
For many reasons. And, you know, some of it was that a lot of it read like gibberish, and some of it was that, like, it didn't look good. Like,
it had
again,
weird formatting
fonts.
issues a lot of the time.
Fonts are important. Formatting is important.
I just didn't
look
like that
polished.
they called Shield or Mash.
No.
I preferred Mashu. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just sounded better.
Although the translation for the Moon Dumpling event, that was pretty okay. It was better than
and again, I think
the
they
main
had
story
multiple
one had been.
people probably.
Yeah.
So some parts are better than others, but it's just sort of like, and even nothing to do with the actual words of the translation, but I remember when I was playing it, there would be a lot of lines where like the text box fills up and then like keeps going.
Yeah, and then like a line is just hovering above the text box, and I'm like, all right, sure, this is where we're at now.
So like someone in the process was not either paying attention to the limitations that they had, or like was not changing things enough. Like what we actually had to make the text box bigger in Kindred Spirits to fit the translations of the lines, because the text was so dense in Japanese. You can get across so much more information. So we made the text box way bigger
Let me just
in the
say
English
that
version. If you look at screenshots,
the Kindred Spirits
you can
stuff is
tell.
not making the text box less transparent.
We're sorry.
I'm sorry. Because
that
it
you
makes
have
it hard
these
to read.
regrets.
Well, you're not
Yeah, exactly.
reading it.
But
you have to
the
listen
actresses
to
have to record over that footage.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's like really hard sometimes. Like, okay, that's something that bothers me with visual novels that like a lot of them do, where the text is white on a light colored text box, which is really hard to read, especially if you're trying to record it.
The text box of Kindred Spirits is like a dark blue.
So don't do that. I know, but I'm just talking about like, or maybe I'm just thinking of like editing stuff and how I can't fucking read half of the text boxes.
Well, a lot of them you can change the transparency of the box. I think
transparency sliders, they save lives.
Yeah.
Please.
I think we actually also gave the text a shadow that it might not have had in the Japanese to kind of help with that.
Thank you. My eyes are terrible and reading is hard.
And it's a very small resolution now.
Yeah.
I think we've covered most things.
Let's see. Oh, I have one more thing on my scribbled page. In issues with translation, like what's important also, so there's getting the tone across and making people speak like humans, and then there's like a lot of words or sentences in Japanese would have multiple meanings or can be interpreted different ways, and it's important to sometimes you have to sort of make decisions about which way you want a line to be interpreted, or you have to try to say something in a way that can be interpreted in the same multiple ways. And the one specifically that I'm thinking of is like the word ski, and whether you translate it as like or love or whatever. So I sort of made the conscious decision in Kindred Spirits to just use the love word, because it bothers me when people, say like or reduce.
It's interesting that you say that, because that's actually something I noticed when I reread the fan translation of the first chapter of Kase-san recently and compared it to the official translation. And they used love in the fan translation, but in the official translation. And I thought that was interesting.
Yes. I was thinking about this because I just recently read the official translation of Akuma no Riddle.
Ah.
Do you know that?
Oh, yeah, that one.
It's Yuri.
Yeah.
So, I think I looked at the fan translation after I read the official translation, and it was, they used love in the fan translation and like in the original, in the official translation. And the manga ends with the two main characters, spoilers for Akuma no Riddle, it ends with the two main characters like spending the rest of their lives together.
They're just gals being pals.
They just like each other, right?
Right, but they never say love in the official translation, and it bothers me so much.
Hey, speaking of official translations,
this
gal right here
pals.
translated the Kindred Spirits manga.
We all know.
You should buy it, read it, support the industry. Speaking of which, support the Kase-san OVA so I can get a full series, please. I've waited so long.
Maybe one day.
Well, there's a lot of Yuri.
Yeah, but for like really shitty stuff. Now. Like who? Like, come on, Citrus? Get that shit out of here. Netsuzo Trap?
God. I'm sorry, which one of us actually spent money on official Citrus things, Phil?
It was me, but it was funny.
Which one of us was the one that did that?
I did spend $20 to buy Mazerly, the first volume of Citrus.
Never spend money on things, ironically,
know,
because you have still spent
But look,
money.
I think
and
buying the first
supported
volume of
them.
Kase-san and the
Exactly.
Kindred Spirits manga cancels that out.
Just
to
so you could
buy-
fuck with me.
God.
You have to buy a second Kindred Spirits manga now.
Alright, we'll have a giveaway.
Yeah, Phil.
One day we'll have.
Yeah,
the
that's something I've
Kindred
actually
Spirits
thought about in the
anime that
past.
we
I don't know if
all
Kindred Spirits would
deserve.
really work as an anime, just because all the different perspectives.
Yeah,
It'd be like, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of it is the internal thoughts of characters, which wouldn't
feel like
translate as well into an anime,
Mhm.
I feel.
on the other hand,
It'd be like
the kitty
it'd be like
chase
JoJo's
scene
Bizarre Adventure.
That
where they
would
have to
be
slow
great,
down
though.
time every 2
Must
seconds for
be
the characters to
animated.
get out their monologue.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
When I picture that chase scene, have you seen Nichijou? I picture the chase scene in Nichijou.
Maybe I
that's
should put a
good.
disclaimer
That's
at the
good.
beginning of this podcast, so you're not really going to know what we're talking about if you haven't actually played Kindred Spirits.
Go play Kindred
Well, but
Spirits.
everyone has played Kindred Spirits, haven't
Go
you?
watch the dub of Kindred Spirits. Maybe we'll get to finish it as a whole game one day.
Yeah, if you're
gonna fucking
only
wait a
watching the
while.
dub, there's a lot more.
It took us
Yeah.
4.
Go
It took
play
us
the
4
game.
years
Go
to finish
buy it.
Danganronpa.
And there
Kindred
is
Spirits
a-
is definitely a game of that length.
Yeah.
To be fair, Peter had to recast about almost everyone in Danganronpa
I hope I
over
don't
the
have to
course of
recast
that time.
everybody in Kindred Spirits.
So
Kindred Spirits.
that'd be sad.
Kindred Spirits and Danganronpa
Well,
have the
we're already
same
one
amount of
down.
characters.
So,
So
conspiracy.
But there will be
The Kin-
more Kindred Spirits characters as the game goes on,
Kindred-
and fewer Danganronpa
the Kindred
characters.
Spirits killing game is
That's
definitely
also
a fanfic
very
waiting to
true.
happen.
It probably already exists. Let's be real here.
I think we.
So, if you're listening to the dub and you're on the fence and you don't know if you want more Kindred Spirits, you should go to mangagamer.org/Kindred Spirits. And there is a free demo, and I'm pretty sure it actually gets farther
Hey.
than where the
Then
book
we've
is right
gotten.
now.
Hey,
So,
come on, why
play
you
the
gotta do me like
demo.
that? It's been like a year.
It's fine.
Yeah, time
Yeah,
flies.
it
huh?
has. Wow, it has.
It's a nice surprise.
Yeah, it took like
whenever
3 months
a
for
new
this one. It's gonna be
episode
fast.
appears.
I think. I don't know,
Man.
Mazer. You gotta give her like 6
So
more
when
episodes.
will Yoka show up?
Like, the real fucking loser here is Rose. Aki's in like 1 episode.
I'm sorry, Rose. She did
Yeah,
a
her
really
Aki
good
was
Aki,
so
but she only
good.
gets to do it once.
Aki will be a mystery unless you play the game.
Yeah, go play the game. So that you'll know who the hell we're talking about.
You should also just look at the website because it's so cool.
Yeah, the official, like, Manga Gamer one for Kindred Spirits is really
Actually,
Good Haro did the website.
You know, I have
and
one
she
more
does
regret when it comes to
such
the
cool
dub.
websites.
Peter, I didn't really
Yes.
know anything about video editing or image editing at the time, so I let Peter make all the pictures for the casting call, and they don't really.
cool. Uh-huh.
Some of them are too small and some of them are too big, and I was a little like sad
Damn
about
it,
it, but I
Peter.
couldn't really fix it, and I didn't want to tell him that, so I just let it be. I know,
but
but
to
I
be
still
fair,
have
this was
regrets
over
about
a
it.
year
I'm just
ago.
like, man, I wish I could have fixed that.
That's such...
I
Such an
know! I'm always upset about
inconsequential
inconsequential
thing to be
things.
upset
Like how I noticed there was a part in episode 10 where Yuna's audio is on the wrong track. And now I can't fix it. Because the episode's already out. Alright, before we go,
Sad
who's your best
day.
level up girl? Yeah, just from Muse.
From Muse.
Because Phil
Written.
hasn't...
What about,
Ha ha.
yeah,
From Aqua
Hmm.
Daya.
look, Umi is good. Not Kindred Spirits Umi. Love Live Umi. Yeah, both
Rin
Umis
is
are good.
still best girl.
Umi is also good. I like I like all the love lives.
Nico is Satan.
There are none that I don't like. And that's why we love her.
Exactly.
The Love Live OT3 is the 3 third years in Aqua for me. And for everyone, really. If it's not yours, then you're wrong.
The last episode was very good for that.
Yes, I have to watch it. I'm behind.
I will. I'm just really
Phil,
slow.
watch season 2.
I'm watching Stranger Things now.
I
know, I'm ridiculously slow.
You're too slow, Phil.
Yeah, I think that covers just about everything. Yeah.
Everything
we got all the
that
necessary
we needed to talk about.
points out.
Everything. Everything in the world. Yes.
All right.
Translation is hard and awful, and don't ever do it, kids.
All right.
But it can be fun and rewarding when you do a good job.
So maybe do it.
Do a lot of it for practice, and then do something for real.
Those are good words to live by for a lot of things, I feel.
Yeah. Like any skill, it takes a lot of practice.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, God.
If Kindred Spirits 2 ever comes out, maybe we'll have you on
me.
again.
Oh.
In like 5 years.
We can hope.
We can dream. Go support.
Yeah.
We'll maybe
If
be
we're
done
lucky.
with the dub by then.
Yeah.
And, yeah. We'll see you next time, everybody.
God.
Bye.
Let's Dub Project!